All right, so welcome back everybody, and our next session will be about good practices. We are talking about how to fight anti-Semitism, and we will continue on talking about the education, because what we believe here is education is one of the best way to fight anti-Semitism. Today, our guests are Éva Vadász, who's actually working with B'nai Brit and is a sister of ours for a long time, maybe ever since she was born. And our other guest is Jonny Hudson. Hi there, Jonny, from the UK, who is a specialist, and we will talk a bit about their special program on basically the Zionist movement, what they were doing here during the Second World War. So first of all, my question will be to Éva, that like, how did you come to deal with this project? How did you come to know about the whole Zionist movement during the Second World War?
So thank you for the invitation. It's a big honor to be here. I would just like to introduce in a short few sentences what this whole project is. So our project is about the Zionist Youth Movement, that was the resistance movement against the Nazi tyranny in 1944 in Hungary. That was a youth, the Hungarian Jewish youth fighting the Nazis, Jews saving Jews. There were many activities, but how I got into contact with this whole subject was a very interesting story. I live in Tel Aviv. I'm a journalist. I met David Gur for an interview a few years ago as a Hungarian journalist in Israel. And so the whole story behind this project starts here. So David Gur is a superbly fit 96-year-old who lives in Ramat Gan. He used to be a civil engineer, but as a teenager he was a member of the Zionist Youth Resistance Movement in Hungary. So as a teenager, during the Second World War, during the Nazi occupation in 1944 in March, David Gur participated in the document forging activities of the young Jews who opposed the Nazi tyranny. So David belonged to a group of young Jewish people who decided to take action to save other Jews. So first of all, the forging, the counterfeiting of the documents was only the start of their heroic work. They set up and operated 55 orphanages. They smuggled nearly 15,000 people across the border of Hungary towards Romania, and they sent couriers, messengers to the Jews in the countryside so to inform them about the Nazi plan, the complete annihilation of the Jews in Hungary. So tens of thousands were provided with these life-saving documents, and despite a vicious campaign against them by the Nazis and their helpers, incredibly the core of the group survived, made Aliyah and settled down in Israel. So this civic, non-military resistance is barely known in the common knowledge. And during my interview with David Gur, I decided that I'm gonna help him in his very important work, because he's not spending his whole retirement, but it's very important for him to commemorate Jews saving Jews in Hungary, to bring the concept of what teenagers can achieve under the most murderous conditions into the common knowledge. So I was very happy when I saw the advertisement of the Western Galilee College. It's in Akko, it's in Israel. I live in Tel Aviv. They are in Akko, not very close by, but also not very far away from Tel Aviv. But they were advertising a course about entrepreneurship and innovation in Holocaust studies. So I said, if somewhere, then there, I could implement this project that I would find a way to bring this into the common knowledge, because it's a story that is very, very underrepresented. So I was very happy that I met through the Western Galilee College, thanks to Boaz Cohen and Edna Pasher, two beautiful people, two professionals with a common goal, with whom we brainstormed and created a plan for completing the dream that started by David Gur and his friends to commemorate. We called our project the Rescue and Resistance Learning Center, and I'm very proud that Hershey Orenstein from Israel and Jonny Hudson worked with me on this project. Actually, Jonny was the real implementer of the project, what we did on this whole subject. Now, the project was a lesson plan. We created 2 lesson plans, a study kit for teachers and students to use all over the world in English-speaking schools.
That's brilliant. So basically you started to work with Jonny specifically on this project because that's just a positive topic to basically educate kids on Holocaust and to educate them about what happened during the Second World War, positive movement, basically.
Exactly, that it's not something about the Holocaust what we would cry about, but it's you know the best, because you're a Holocaust subject specialist as well. That it's the little miracles of the Holocaust, that there were a bunch of people, youngsters, teenagers, who saved other people, and they went against the Nazis. It's something so important in the whole story that and can be used always. Like first of all, it's that's why we thought about a special study kit for teachers that will be distributed all over the world, that they could give something to the students that can be used nowadays as well.
Yeah, because it's such a positive example that they can just like relate to really easily, age-wise and etc.
Exactly.
So Jonny, can you just tell a bit about this special kit?
Yeah, so when Eva told me this inspiring story that she's just told you then, the challenge was, how are we going to reach the most people? And it was through this study kit, or through a series of lessons that we could provide teachers, that I thought we would reach the most people. And one thing that led the creation of these resources was, over the last 12 years, I've worked in 5 different countries. I've taught in 5 different countries. So I've taught a huge diverse range of students in really, really different contexts. So I wanted to create something that would be the teachers around the world would be able to use in many, many different contexts. So we've created, so it's almost a year to the day that I met Eva. And so and last week we've got the study kit now.
Oh, lovely.
We've had the first, Dr. Boaz Cohen from Western Galilee College, very kindly and very generously. He is a member of our team. He put the money forward for us to have an initial 50 of these made. So now we're contacting major Holocaust institutions and schools that specialise in the Holocaust, and we're going to send these out to them. So this is the pack itself, and then I'll try and show you the different component parts of this resource package.
All right.
So it consists of, as you can see, 5 different things. So we've got the teacher information booklet. So that's got all the lesson plans in there, and it's got extra guidance on some of the resources. Mm-hmm. We've got, I'll come to this in a moment. This is the resources for the first lesson, which I've got around the room. I'm going to show you in a moment. And then all of these are for the second lesson, which is an investigation. So I'll come back to these in a moment. So this is our teacher information booklet. So it's got information about David Gur and how our project came into being. And then we've got information about the guiding principles of our project, and then we've got the lesson plans as well. Now, the first lesson is centered around 24 photographs, and I think you can see them if I just show you them. I'll put them up around the room. So this first lesson is a context lesson, so this will teach students not only about rescue and resistance during the Holocaust in Hungary, it's a full context lesson, so that when they come to learn about the Zionist Youth Resistance in Hungary, they understand the context within which this happened. Mm-hmm. Now this would be, you can just imagine students coming into the room and seeing 24 photographs around the room, and then they can really look at them, and they've got agency, and they can go up to one, say this one for example, they take it off the wall, they turn it round, you've got your information there which details what the photograph is about. You've got a quote here, which is usually a primary source quote, and then you've got 4 different questions that are more complex and more challenging as they go along. So I know with some of my classes, question 4 would be impossible for them, but every student in the world really would be able to at least have a go at the first question and then access this information here. So I think this one really unique thing about this resource is that this could be used with students from the ages of 14, but I could see it also being used in teacher training courses as well, and that's how we've designed it. Now the second lesson is mainly 3 different components. So we've got our not on our watch cards. Mm-hmm. So here we have different cards, and we've got 16 different members of the Zionist Youth Resistance. So we've got their name and their information, and then we've just got some information detailing what they did and how they contributed towards the resistance movement. So these will be set out on, so it's up to the teacher how they might want to conduct this, but it could be learning stations with a mixture of these different resources. We've got secondary sources as well. So some of the leading publications that talk about the Zionist Youth Resistance during the Holocaust, and then we've got some information there. And then finally, we've got from David Gur's personal archive, we've got some of the documents that they counterfeited. So these very documents saved people's lives. And what we'd encourage students to do is, in English-speaking schools, to get an iPad and use the Google Translate and see if they can work out what lovely. This document says.
Wait for it.
And then we've got the translations on the back as well.
Mm-hmm. The real one.
So then they can turn it over afterwards, and we've got 7 different ones of these, and each one of these documents saved lives and represents non-military resistance, non-violent resistance during the Holocaust. So we're really excited about getting this out into schools, and I know as a teacher, having taught for 12 years now, I know that this will be a really, really successful resource, and the message behind it couldn't be more important for our kids at the moment.
Yeah, and this is a really interactive way to just communicate to kids, because what I find is, especially nowadays where everybody is up on their phone, that basically just to get their attention, it's really hard, but I think this way it's a bit easier to get their attention and keep them focused for a whole lesson.
Exactly, yeah. And I know because I've done similar activities before using the walls. All classrooms in the world have walls, pretty much. So when they come in, I can just imagine this is really, really visually engaging. And once you have them like that, once you have their interest, then you can start teaching them the really important messages behind this, and the fact that they have agency as well, so they can look around. Okay, I'm drawn to this photograph, so we're not just stood at the front of the classroom telling them the information. They also play a part in their own learning here quite actively as well.
Yeah, perfect. So the next stage, as I understood, will be to contact as many institutions as possible, and then you will have like a pilot project. So for a year, you will just like receive more and more information that how did it work?
Yeah, so I'm on half term at the moment, so I'm not in school, but when I get back, I intend to do this in my school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do a trial with my school as well. I'm positive that it will work because I've created resources like this, similar resources like this before, but I've never spent as long creating resources as this. So teachers are very busy. Like there's no way on earth you have the time to make something like this.
Yeah.
So I can imagine as a teacher, if somebody sent this to me, I would be delighted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great job. I can tell it from here because yeah, it is just perfectly done. Thank you so much for showing the kit, and yeah, we are wishing really good luck and yeah, great classes for you with this kit because I think it will be super successful, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Eva, for being here, and definitely we will talk a bit more about this later on because I think it will be a great success for sure.
Hopefully, really, like when we started this whole thing in the school, in the Western Galilee College, then we were thinking about it, that it could lead to a popular board game or a video game. Jonny even got in contact with a video game builder, and then they already have ideas there in Berlin, and then something for teenagers, but for now, it's a simple and doable knowledge sharing kit.
Yeah, but this is the first step, basically.
First step, and then also it's like if I were a student, Jonny student, or an English in an English-speaking school anywhere in the world that gets this class, the classroom activity, then I would be very excited to participate in this investigation because it's such an amazing story, and we are very grateful actually for the opportunity of working with one of the survivors of the resistance, David Gur, who became our friends throughout the whole process, and we even thank him and his wife in the resources, so the teachers will get to know them as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your work. I think it's a great job what you have done so far, and hopefully that's just the first step, and we will see what's next. It's really exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.